people have reached out to me, and I hope that there's nobody that had worse done to them.
This is called Jesus, Sex, and Politics. I feel like we're hitting all three of those in this episode.
Yes.
That's amazing.
Need some children that learn a lot from Jesus.
Children, if you're listening, turn this off. Okay, there's the disclaimer. Goes to the line of inappropriateness.
No, this is also supposed to be instructional.
So it is possible that here we have a faint and delicate reference to an oral genital caress. Website called Book22.com, and you can go there to purchase things that you feel would be a marital aid.
But I do want to cooperate. I don't want to be uncooperative.
In October 2025, Jonathan Peternell, age 24, was arrested for having explicit content of children on his devices by the Pendleton Police Department. Snapchat alerted authorities of the content, and the police seized said devices. Amongst the content were real victims who were being tortured and assaulted, and AI-generated photos of pregnant toddlers, amongst other things. Oddly enough, over 50 explicit videos and images of Jonathan's parents were also found on his devices. Jonathan's father, Nathan Peternell, is the lead pastor of Life Church. Many people have come out with personal stories, including myself, about Nathan's behavior as a pastor and his inappropriate conduct with teenagers. As far as my story, he asked me explicit questions about my body, amongst other things, when I was 17 years old. I wrote a letter to the church about this at the time, and Nathan continued to be a lead pastor. You can see the full details by clicking the link in the description box below to that video. I want to be clear that my story is nothing compared to the other victims discussed in this video, and I have only shared my story as I believe it is telling to who Pastor Nathan is and his character. 24/7 News has discussed other adults who had similar experiences with Nathan when they were also teens. He had private groups of these children come to his home with his wife and asked them about their intimate relations with peers, and described his relations with his wife with the teens. Furthermore, Nathan has been known to discuss explicit topics during his sermons. I myself have witnessed it, even though I had only attended Life Church a handful of times. I have had many people reach out to me with their stories and experiences, noting that they too remember these sermons.
So this is explicit. Many scholars believe this is as it appears. While there is some debate in the meaning, in his book Solomon on Sex, Joseph Dillow says, in extra-biblical literature, fruit is sometimes equated with male genitals and with semen. You approach her gently as to not scare off the twin gazelles, okay? He's not saying, oh, goody fawns, okay? He doesn't say that. He's coming gently. He's coming passionately. He's thinking, if the fawns are out to play, do not scare them away.
What is even more concerning is that Nathan shares a podcast with a fellow pastor of Life Church, Micah Beckwith, who is also the lieutenant governor of Indiana. The two are closely tied and have done work for one another. Much of Beckwith's staff comes from Life Church. The podcast they share is called, quote, Jesus, Sex, and Politics. And they too discuss many explicit topics on their podcast that do not reflect how religious leaders should act.
What does my wife say about how I get paid?
I don't know.
I get paid to be a husband.
Well, Do you really? She pays you?
in many awesome ways. And I'm just telling you.
This is Jesus, Sex, and Politics. I guess you can't. I was going to say, we don't talk about that here, but.
I didn't say exactly what way.
No,
I'm just saying that what
you are
idiot.
dangerously close to the line of inappropriateness.
No, this is also supposed to be instructional.
Another little gem that we have.
Said jam it down your throat, but that's quick.
I mean,
because you're made and figure out how to use these things called legs and
what's this thing between my legs?
No, I didn't say that. I said find it.
Since the arrest of Jonathan Peternell, Micah has not rejected or removed himself from the church in any way. In fact, he stands by and supports the Peternell's family and continues to preach at the church's Noblesville campus. Micah and his office are currently under investigation for alleged deep fakes. The videos were supposedly of State Representative Craig Haggard's wife. Micah's office is also being investigated for ghost employment. Micah also has family members that work within the church as well. Jonathan Peternell was sentenced to 6 years in prison, but only has to serve 4 years, with 2 of them being suspended to instead formal probation. Since his arrest in October, multiple staff members have quit, including more than one pastor. There has been a lot of talk at the church, and the congregants were told to quit complaining by the Indiana Supervisor Assemblies of God.
This is what I know about your pastor. He's a man of character and integrity. The other side of the boat are gossiping and crying and complaining. The boat's going to go in circles in the middle of the storm. Careful, in the middle of the storm, we'll find ourselves going in circles and not making it to the other side. So it's so important that we listen.
Nathan had stepped away, then came back briefly and continued to preach. Recently, he was put on a, quote, structured restorative process, end quote, to help aid him after the videos were discovered of him and his wife. Many people believe he should be removed as the lead pastor. He had expressed this isn't possible for him to be fired by the church board, and he stated this multiple times. Law and Crime recently released body cam footage of the arrest of Jonathan Peternell, which took place at his parents' home. Nathan and his wife Christina can be seen speaking to the police about their son and the warrant for the devices to be seized. Nathan mentioned that his son was first exposed to certain materials at 10 that he is aware of because he found it on his son's device. When asked what it was, Nathan said he wanted a lawyer present in order to answer. What was even more concerning was that both Jonathan and Nathan seemed to have a very similar statement when first asked by police to answer questions.
If there was, there's stuff that breaks your heart, so you counsel them away from it. But as to the content of what I saw and got rid of, if you don't mind, I'd just like to have my lawyer present. Yeah.
I think that I'm supposed to talk to my attorney. We're friends with him.
Yeah, that's good. Do you have an attorney locally?
When Christina was told about the content on her son's device, she had to clarify by asking, Jonathan's? When told yes, it was Jonathan's, she didn't respond.
So we just always ask. I'm sure they've always asked, or already asked, but I was just following up, just because I don't know what other people have talked about.
So you found things?
Mm-hmm. Well, that's why we're here. It was in the cyber tip.
So I knew that there was a tip, but I didn't know.
The child pornography images.
On Jonathan's?
Mm-hmm. And his Snapchat account.
The entirety of the video can be found on the link below to the Law and Crime video. I will more than likely be releasing a video of my own that breaks down the footage and the dialogue. As of now, Jonathan remains in police custody to continue his sentencing and time in prison. Nathan is undergoing his, quote, restorative process, end quote, but remains the lead pastor, and Micah Beckwith is still preaching. Church members are leaving, and so is staff. 4 years in prison seems like an injustice for what Jonathan was involved in. He's a danger to society. And not to mention that his father allowed him near congregants and children after knowing what his son was being investigated for. This is partially why people are leaving Life Church. Everyone should continue fighting for justice. There's no room for this behavior in society. As for myself, I will continue speaking out about this story amongst other ones. Thank you for getting it this far in the video, if you have. And let's just keep continuing to seek justice and truth, especially for the victims of this world that are involved in these extremely unfortunate circumstances. Please like and subscribe if you want to be a part of that mission and you want to be a part of exposing darkness that lurks in this world.